It's a problem facing school boards all across the GTA, multi-million-dollar funding holes and uncertainty. I'm Christina Howard, and while the Toronto District School Board is dealing with a $67 million funding gap, other boards are too. The Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board, for example, is looking at a $15 million funding hole. The York Catholic Board is dealing with a projected $8 million deficit. And the Toronto District School Board, or the Toronto Catholic District School Board, well, they're bracing themselves for $31.5 million funding hole, and they're trying to figure out the ways to best address this problem.
The International Languages Program, we have not heard from the government whether or not that will that they will fund it for next year. At the end of this year, it will cease to exist, basically, if the government doesn't make up its mind in terms of funding it and making sure that we can teach it within the 300-minute day.
The program operates in 44 schools, exposing thousands of students to a third language. Mandarin, Italian, Ukrainian are just a few. But as of right now, there is no guaranteed funding for the program, which costs about $9 million a year to operate. It's one of several areas the board is examining as a way to balance its budget, including moving the program to nights and weekends.
We hear of boards that are going to be cutting everything from arts to tech courses. These kinds of cuts are going to, reduce the opportunities that students have in terms of their learning, and everybody knows it.
But Education Minister Lisa Thompson says the boards are being a little too presumptuous when it comes to their budgets, that they haven't received their final numbers, and some programs' funding will be delivered in coming weeks.
A large part of their decrease at this time is based on the Local Priorities Fund, which they know does not expire until August 31st.
But the Catholic Board is facing additional pressures too. While the classroom caps for intermediate levels has made some classes larger, it is forcing the Toronto Catholic School Board to hire additional teachers with an anticipated additional cost of $4.5 million.
When our staff contacted the ministry and said, you want us to add 30 new teachers to the elementary panel to meet the ratios, which is your regulation, where are we supposed to get the money? And they basically said, we're not giving it to you.
Please come to us as a ministry. That's my message today. We are looking for input through to May 31st. We still have time as a ministry and a school board to work together.
Toronto Catholic's preliminary budget would require them to cut 214 positions in addition to other non-staffing moves.
And that means that there will be less teachers in the classroom, there will be less caretakers in the school, there will be less EAs in the classroom for students with special needs, and also less choices for students, particularly at the secondary level where they're selecting their high school choices. Those choices are going to be cut.
Now, to make ends meet, the Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board is looking at eliminating some non-teaching positions, although it is still crunching its numbers. The Peel District School Board and the Durham District School Board both say it's still too early to make predictions about potential impacts. They're waiting for their final budget numbers to come in.